Shadows swallowed the earth. And in the middle of it all, Superman stood frozen. Not because he couldn't fight, but because the man leading the attack was wearing the crest of the House of El. His own blood, his own grandfather, the one he thought had come to protect Earth, now stood ready to conquer it. It had all begun 3 weeks earlier. A deep space alert pinged in the Fortress of Solitude, a Kryptonian distress beacon, older than any Superman had ever seen. The signal was faint, but the coordinates pointed directly toward Earth. No Kryptonian ship should even exist anymore, and yet the night sky over Metropolis shimmered as a massive, silver warship descended silently through the clouds. Its hull bore the ancient sigil of the House of El, etched in gold. The ship's ramp lowered with a hiss of steam. Out stepped a tall, broad-shouldered man with silver hair, wearing battle armor that looked forged in the heart of a star. His eyes locked on Superman's. "Kal-El," the man said, voice deep and steady. "My grandson." Superman froze. "Who are you?" "I am Val-El, your grandfather, the last elder of Krypton." Before Clark could speak, Val-El embraced him. The crowd that had gathered gasped, phones recording every second. For the next few days, Val-El stayed with Superman. He told stories of Krypton's golden age, cities that floated in the skies, oceans of crystal, and warriors who could shatter mountains. Clark listened, fascinated. For the first time, he felt connected to a part of his heritage he had only read about. Val-El spoke with wisdom, but there was a weight in his gaze, as if he carried a shadow from the past. One night, atop the Daily Planet building, Val-El looked out over Metropolis. "They are fragile, Cal," he said, gesturing to the city below. "These humans, they break so easily. You could rule them, protect them from themselves." Superman shook his head. "I'm here to inspire, not to dominate." Val-El's jaw tightened. "Inspiration won't stop the dangers that are coming." Clark turned away. "Neither will fear." Val-El smiled faintly, but his eyes were cold. 2 days later, chaos erupted. From the skies descended monstrous alien birds, each the size of a fighter jet, with talons like swords and eyes that glowed molten red. They struck without warning, tearing through villages in South America, Asia, and Africa. Superman raced across continents, saving lives, but every time he engaged, the creatures vanished into thin air, as if they were never there. Governments panicked. News channels screamed, "Global crisis." The next morning, Val-El appeared on every major broadcast. "I can end this threat," he declared. "I have the strength and the knowledge to protect Earth." Within hours, he found the alien birds and destroyed them in a spectacular battle, broadcast live. The world erupted in cheers. Headlines read, "Val-El, Earth's new champion." People began to whisper, "Maybe he's stronger than Superman." Val-El started giving speeches about Earth's vulnerability. He called human governments weak and divided, claiming only a single, unchallenged ruler could keep the planet safe. Crowds cheered him. Leaders grew nervous. Superman watched from the shadows, silent. For the first time, he felt the world slipping away from him, not to an alien invader, but to his own family. Superman stood alone on the rooftop of the Daily Planet, the cheers for Val-El echoing through the city. And for the first time in his life, he wondered if the people of Earth still wanted him as their hero. The rise of Val-El. The cheers for Val-El didn't fade overnight. They grew. Every news channel replayed the footage of him tearing through the alien birds, his silver armor glinting in the sunlight, his strikes so fast they blurred. Commentators called him the warrior Krypton was meant to send. Hashtags trended. Children wore makeshift capes with his crest instead of Superman's. Clark told himself it didn't matter, that the symbol on his chest wasn't a popularity contest. But deep down, he felt the shift, the way people looked at him now, not with awe, but with comparison. Val-El, meanwhile, moved with the confidence of a man who had already won. He visited disaster zones, rebuilt bridges with his bare hands, and spoke to crowds in a voice that carried like thunder. His message was always the same. Earth is vulnerable. Division is weakness. Only united under one strong hand can you be safe. At first, it sounded like wisdom. But the more he spoke, the more it sounded like a warning. One evening, Clark confronted him in the Fortress of Solitude. "You're scaring people," Superman said. "I'm preparing them," Val-El replied, walking slowly past the crystalline pillars. "Fear is a tool, Cal. It sharpens the mind. It makes people listen. They don't need fear. They need hope." Val-El turned, eyes narrowing. Hope didn't save Krypton. The words hit like a punch. Clark had no answer. The next week, Val-El announced something unprecedented, a global defense summit. Leaders from every major nation were invited to Metropolis. The official reason was to coordinate against future alien threats. The unofficial reason was clear. Val-El wanted them all in one room. The summit was held in the Metropolis Grand Hall, a building large enough to hold 1,000 people. Flags from every nation lined the walls. Security was tighter than ever. Superman stood at the back, arms folded, watching. Val-El took the stage in full armor, the House of El crest gleaming under the lights. "Leaders of Earth," he began, "you have seen what I can do. You have seen the dangers that lurk beyond your skies. Your armies are brave, but they are not enough. Your weapons are powerful, but they are not enough. I am enough." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "I propose a new order," Val-El continued. "One ruler, one law, one shield to protect this world." "Me." Gasps. Protests. A few claps. Superman stepped forward, but Val-El raised a hand. "Cal, you know I'm right. You've fought for them for years, and still the threats keep coming. How many more must die before you admit the truth?" Clark's voice was steady. "The truth is, freedom is worth the risk, and no one, not even you, has the right to take it away." The summit ended in chaos. Some leaders left in anger, others in fear. But the seed had been planted. In the days that followed, strange things began to happen. A terrorist cell in Eastern Europe was dismantled, not by police, but by Val-El, who arrived before anyone else knew the attack was coming. A rogue AI in Asia was destroyed, again, by Val-El, who claimed he sensed its activation. Each time, the media hailed him as a savior. Each time, Superman arrived too late to be part of the victory. Clark began to suspect something darker. The timing was too perfect, the threats too convenient. He started investigating quietly, tracing energy signatures from the alien bird's remains. The trail led to fragments of technology, Kryptonian technology. One night, Clark flew to the edge of the Arctic, where the readings were strongest. There, buried beneath the ice, he found a hidden chamber, a miniature fortress, humming with alien power. Inside were cages, empty now, but large enough to hold the alien birds. And in the center, a console bearing the House of El crest. Val-El's crest. Clark's stomach tightened. His grandfather hadn't just defeated the alien birds. He had created them, released them, all to stage his own heroics. When Clark returned to Metropolis, Val-El was already on every screen, addressing the world. "Today," he declared, "I take the first step toward uniting Earth. I will oversee all planetary defense operations. Your armies will answer to me. Your skies will be mine to guard. And under my rule, no threat will ever touch this world again." Crowds roared, some in approval, some in fear. Superman landed beside him on the podium. "This isn't protection. This is control." Val-El didn't look at him. Control is the only protection that works. That night, Clark met with the Justice League. Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, all were concerned. But Val-El had already begun dismantling their influence, painting them as unaccountable vigilantes. Public trust was slipping. "People love him," Wonder Woman said. "They think he's you, but better." "He's not me," Clark replied. "And if I don't stop him, he'll be their ruler before they realize what they've lost." The turning point came when Val-El announced the formation of the Earth Guard, an elite force of enhanced soldiers trained with Kryptonian tech. They wore armor modeled after his own, their loyalty sworn to him alone. Superman tried to speak to one of them, a young recruit named Harris. "He saved my family," Harris said. "If he says he can keep us safe, I believe him." Clark realized then that Val-El wasn't just building an army. He was building faith. And faith was harder to fight than any weapon. In private, Clark confronted him again. "You staged the alien bird attacks," he said. "I found your base." Val-El didn't deny it. "And it worked. The people trust me now. They'll follow me anywhere. They'll follow you into chains. They'll follow me into survival." For a moment, the two stood inches apart, the air between them charged. Then Val-El stepped back. "You'll see, Cal. One day you'll thank me." Weeks passed. Val-El's influence spread. Borders blurred as nations handed over military control. The Earth Guard patrolled cities. Crime dropped. Alien incursions stopped. On the surface, life seemed better. But Clark saw the cost. Dissent silenced, protests broken up, journalists disappearing. Fear had replaced freedom, and people didn't even notice. One rainy night, Superman flew over Metropolis and saw something that froze in midair. A massive banner hung from the tallest building, bearing Val-El's crest. Beneath it, in bold letters, "One world, one ruler." The cheers from below were deafening. Superman landed on a nearby rooftop, watching as Val-El addressed the crowd. His voice boomed through the rain. "Under my rule, Earth will never fall. No alien, no god, no force in the universe will dare touch you. I am your shield. I am your sword. I am your future." The crowd erupted, and in that moment, Clark knew Val-El wasn't just protecting Earth. He was preparing it for something bigger. Shadows of the Galaxy. The rain-soaked night when Val-El's banner unfurled over Metropolis was only the beginning. Within weeks, the Earth Guard had expanded into every major city. Their black and silver armor gleamed under streetlights, their patrols constant. Crime rates plummeted, but so did dissent. People whispered in private now, afraid of who might be listening. Superman moved through the city like a ghost, watching, listening, searching for cracks in Val-El's perfect image. But the more he looked, the more he realized Val-El wasn't just ruling Earth. He was preparing it. The first clue came from deep space. A watchtower sensor pinged an anomaly at the edge of the solar system. A fleet of ships, massive and slow-moving, holding position just beyond Pluto's orbit. They weren't attacking. They were waiting. Clark brought the data to Batman. "They're not here for Earth yet," Batman said, scanning the readings. "They're here for him." Val-El. Who else commanded a fleet like this? Superman confronted his grandfather in the Fortress of Solitude. "I know about the ships," he said. Val-El didn't flinch. "They are allies. Old friend from a time before Krypton fell. They're warlords," Clark shot back. "I've seen their records. They've conquered half a dozen systems." Val-El's voice was calm, almost gentle, "And they will help me protect this planet. In exchange, Earth will join their alliance." That's not protection. That's surrender. It's survival, Cal. The galaxy is a predator's den. You either rule or you are ruled. Days later, the fleet moved closer. The media didn't know. Val-El controlled the flow of information now, but Superman could feel the tension in the air. The Earth Guard began constructing massive orbital platforms, each armed with Kryptonian weaponry. Officially, they were defense stations. Unofficially, they were staging points. Wonder Woman confronted Clark in the Hall of Justice. "If those ships enter orbit, Earth will never be free again," she said. "I know," Clark replied. "But if I move too soon, I'll be fighting him and the people who believe in him." The turning point came when a small resistance group in South America tried to sabotage an Earth Guard supply line. Val-El's response was swift and brutal. The rebels were captured, paraded on live broadcasts, and exiled to an off-world prison colony. Clark watched the footage in silence. "You're exiling humans now?" he asked Val-El later. "They were traitors," Val-El said simply, "and they will be safer there than here. You're not saving them. You're removing anyone who disagrees with you." Val-El's eyes hardened. "Dissent is a luxury of peace. We are at war, whether you admit it or not." That night, Superman infiltrated one of the orbital platforms. Inside, he found something worse than he'd imagined. Not just weapons, but holding cells. Hundreds of them. Empty now, but ready. And in the command logs, a chilling entry. Phase 2. Integration. You didn't need Batman to decode it. Integration meant occupation. The fleet wasn't just coming to ally with Val-El. They were coming to make Earth part of their empire. When Clark returned to Earth, Val-El was already making his next move. A global broadcast lit up every screen, every device. "My people," Val-El's voice boomed. "The galaxy watches us. Soon, our allies will arrive. Together, we will stand as one, not just a planet but a power. No force will dare challenge us." The crowd in Metropolis roared. Flags with Val-El's crest waved in the rain. Superman stood at the edge of the square, unseen, feeling the weight of every cheer. Later, in the quiet of the fortress, Clark replayed the old Kryptonian records he'd recovered. They told the truth about Val-El's exile, how he had tried to seize control of Krypton's ruling council, how he had allied with off-world conquerors, how his vision of protection had always been built on domination. And now, that vision was about to engulf Earth. The Justice League met in secret. "We can't take him head-on," Batman said. "Not yet. The people will see you as the villain. Then I'll have to show them the truth," Clark replied. "Truth won't matter if his fleet arrives first," Flash added. Superman looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the warlords were closing in. And here on Earth, his own grandfather was building the welcome mat. War above the world. The first of the warlord ships broke through the clouds like a shadow, swallowing the sun. They were colossal, each one a floating fortress bristling with weapons, their hulls carved with alien runes that glowed like molten lava. The people of Earth looked up in awe and fear. Val-El called it the Day of Alliance. On every screen, his voice thundered. "Today, Earth takes its place among the stars. Today, we join a power greater than any threat we have ever faced. Under my command, no enemy will dare challenge us." Crowd cheered. Fireworks lit the skies. But Superman saw the truth. This wasn't an alliance. It was an occupation. The Justice League gathered in the watchtower, their faces grim. "They've positioned ships over every continent," Batman said, pointing to the holographic map. "Orbital weapons, troop carriers, and something else, massive energy signatures here, and here. Planetary control nodes," Wonder Woman guessed. "Once they're active, Earth will be locked down. And Val-El will have the key," Clark finished. Superman flew to confront his grandfather one last time. He found him aboard the flagship, standing before a panoramic view of Earth. "You can still stop this," Clark said. "Send them away. Let Earth choose its own path." Val-El didn't turn. "They have chosen. They chose me. They chose a lie. They chose survival." Val-El finally faced him, eyes blazing. "You think I'm a villain because I'm willing to do what you want. You protect them from danger. I will make them so strong no danger will dare come. By making them slaves? By making them rulers?" Before Clark could answer, alarms blared. Through the viewport, he saw streaks of light. Earth's own fighter jets, scrambling to intercept the alien fleet. But the Earth Guard moved faster, intercepting the jets mid-air, forcing them to land. Val-El's voice echoed through the ship's comms. "Stand down. This is not your fight." But for Superman it was. He launched himself into the void, capes snapping in the solar wind. Alien fighters swarmed him, their plasma fire lighting up the darkness. He weaved through them, dismantling weapons, disabling engines, but never killing. From the flagship, Val-El watched. Still holding back, he muttered, still weak. On the ground, resistance cells began to rise. Small groups of humans, inspired by Superman's defiance, sabotaged Earth Guard supply lines, hacked into broadcast towers, and spread the truth about Val-El's stage heroics. But Val-El was ready. He unleashed his elite, the Sentinels, genetically enhanced warriors in Kryptonian battlesuits. They hit the resistance hard, capturing leaders, burning safe houses. Superman returned to Metropolis to find the city under martial law. Drones patrolled the skies. Checkpoints lined the streets. And towering above it all, a new structure, a spire of black metal, pulsing with alien energy. Batman's voice crackled in his earpiece. "That's one of the control nodes. If they activate all three, Earth's defense grid will be locked to Val-El's command permanently. How long do we have?" "Hours," Clark knew what that meant. He'd have to fight his way through the Earth Guard, the Sentinels, and possibly Val-El himself. He landed at the base of the spire. The crowd scattered as the Sentinels closed in. Harris, Clark called to one of them, the young recruit he'd spoken to weeks ago. You don't have to do this. Harris hesitated, then raised his weapon. He saved my family. I trust him. The first blow came hard. Superman blocked, but more Sentinels joined in. The fight was brutal. Metal against flesh, energy blasts lighting up the streets. Clark held back as long as he could, but every second wasted brought the control node closer to activation. High above, Val-El watched from the spire's command deck. Let him fight, he told his officers. Let them see their hero bleed. Superman broke through the last line of Sentinels and burst into the spire's core. The control console glowed with alien symbols. He reached for it, and a hand like steel clamped around his wrist. Val-El stood before him. No armor this time, just the raw power of a Kryptonian elder. You can't win, Cal, he said. Even if you destroy this, the others will remain, and the people will still follow me. Then I'll keep fighting until they see the truth. Their fists collided, the shockwave shattering the spire's walls. Blood against steel. The spire shook with every blow. Superman and Val-El moved like living storms, their fists cracking the air, shockwaves rippling through the city. Windows shattered for blocks. The control node's timer pulsed in the background. 4 minutes and 12 seconds and counting. Val-El struck first, a hammering blow to Clark's chest that sent him crashing through a wall of alien alloy. You can't win, Cal, he roared. I've fought wars across galaxies. I've crushed armies. You're just one man. Clark rose, blood at the corner of his mouth. I'm not just one man. I'm everyone you're trying to control. They collided again, the floor beneath them splintering. Above the city, the alien fleet began to descend, their weapons charging. The sky turned crimson with energy buildup. On the streets below, people ran for cover. But some stopped to watch, phones in hand, recording the impossible battle between two gods. Batman's voice cut through Clark's earpiece. Cal, if that node activates, the fleet locks Earth down permanently. You have 3 minutes. Working on it, Clark grunted, blocking a strike that would have leveled a building. Val-El's attacks were relentless. Every punch carried the weight of decades of battle experience. Clark was faster, but Val-El was cunning. Every feint a trap, every block a setup for the next blow. You think these people love you? Val-El snarled, driving Clark into the console. They fear you. They always will. At least with me, their fear will keep them safe. Clark grabbed his grandfather's wrist, forcing it away from the controls. Fear isn't safety. It's a cage. With a surge of strength, Clark slammed Val-El into the floor, shattering the alien metal. The timer blinked 1 minute and 27 seconds. He turned to the console, but Val-El was already back on his feet, eyes burning with heat vision. The twin beams lanced toward Clark. He crossed his arms, absorbing the blast, the heat searing his skin. With a roar, he pushed forward, closing the distance, and drove Val-El back against the wall. Outside, Wonder Woman and the League engaged the fleet, deflecting plasma fire, disabling weapons. But the ships kept coming, their formation tightening around Earth. Inside the spire, the fight reached its peak. Val-El caught Clark by the throat, lifting him off the ground. You're too weak to do what must be done. Clark's voice was hoarse but steady. Maybe, but I'm strong enough to stop you. With a final burst of power, he twisted free, grabbed Val-El, and hurled him into the console. Sparks exploded. The timer froze at 3 seconds. The control node went dark. Across the sky, the fleet's weapons powered down. Confusion rippled through their ranks. Without the node's signal, their command structure fractured. The League seized the moment, forcing the ships back toward deep space. Val-El staggered to his feet, armor scorched, eyes still defiant. This isn't over, he said. I know, Clark replied. That's why you can't stay here. Minutes later, high above Earth, a containment pod drifted toward the void, its occupant, Val-El, staring out at the shrinking blue planet. His expression was unreadable until the faintest smile curved his lips. Superman watched from orbit, silent. He hadn't killed his grandfather. He couldn't, but he had sent him to a remote, uncharted world, one even Val-El might never escape. Back on Earth, the banners came down. The Earth Guard disbanded. People returned to their lives, some grateful, some still wondering if Val-El had been right. Clark stood on the Daily Planet rooftop, cape billowing in the wind. He knew peace wouldn't last forever. Somewhere out there, Val-El was alive. And somewhere beyond him, the galaxy was still watching. For now, though, Earth was free, and Superman was still its protector. Saga ends, but in the cold darkness of space, a lone pod drifted toward a distant star, and the warlords who had once called Val-El their ally